This is lesson 11 from module 2, and this is the problem set. We're going to work through some problems together. I'm going to model the problems and then we will solve them. So let's get started with number 1. Our must-dos are number 1, 4, and 5. Number 1, the total weight in grams of a can of tomatoes and a jar of baby food is shown to the right here. This is the total weight. Letter A. The jar of baby food weighs 113 grams. How much does the can of tomatoes weigh? So we know that the baby food weighs 113 grams, and it helps me to label my pictures sometimes. So I'm going to model this with a tape diagram. The tape diagram isn't necessarily going to give me the answer, but it's going to help model the problem so that I can visualize it. We know the total weight is 671 grams. What we don't know is the weight of the tomatoes. I'm going to abbreviate tomatoes. Pause the video anytime you need to, but your problems should look just like mine. So if I know the total and then I know one of the other numbers, that tells me that I can subtract these numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and do 671 minus 113. And I have 1 1 and 3 1s. I cannot take 3 1s from 1, so I need to unbundle a 10. So now I have 6 10s here. I change those 10s into 1s and add them to the ones I already have. And 11 minus 3 is 8. 6 minus 1 is 5, and 6 minus 1 is 5. So the tomatoes weigh 558 grams. There's my sentence. Letter B says, how much more? Again, how much more, that signifies subtraction, does the can of tomatoes weigh than the jar of baby food? So now we have the weight of the tomatoes, and I'm modeling this with some tape diagrams. We have the weight of the tomatoes. We have the weight of the baby food. The baby food was 113 grams, and I can look back up here for that information. We have to use all the information that they give us. So I want to know how much more does this weigh than this? So again, we're going to use subtraction. 8 1s, take away 3 1s is 5 1s. 5 10s minus 1 10 is 4 10, so 50 minus 10 is 40. And 500 minus 100 is 445 grams. So the tomatoes, we'll get good at spelling the word tomatoes, I guess, weigh 445 more grams. Now, I'm going to skip down to question number 4, and if we have time, I'll come back and do some of these other problems. But let's go down to question number 4, and let's read it together. A frozen turkey, just in time for Thanksgiving. A frozen turkey weighs about 5 kilograms. The chef orders 45 kilograms of turkey. Use a tape diagram to find about how many frozen turkeys he orders. So for this one, I know that each frozen turkey weighs about 5 kilograms. Our total, so if I think about my tape diagram, I know that each one weighs 5 kilograms, and our total weight of all the turkeys is 45 kilograms. So I'm going to keep counting by fives until I get to my total of 45. So there's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So what I did there was I had 45 kilograms divided by 5 kilograms for each turkey, and that gives me a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 turkeys. So the chef ordered about 9 turkeys. I put that word about in there because they used it in the problem. Let's look at number 5. Let's read it together. A recipe requires 300 milliliters of milk. Sarah decides to triple the recipe for dinner. How many milliliters of milk does she need to cook dinner? So if we know this word triple means what? Triple means 3. We know that one recipe needs 300 milliliters. So 3 recipes, how much milk would that require? So I'm going to model my problem, and I have 300 milliliters for each time I make it. So I'm tripling it. I'm making it 3 times. So I have 300 milliliters, 300 more, and 300 more. So what we want to know is how many total milliliters of milk do I need? So what I can do is 300 milliliters plus 300 milliliters because I'm finding the total, so I'm going to add equals 900 milliliters. So Sarah needs 900 milliliters, make sure you're writing the abbreviation correctly, of milk. Excellent. Let's go back and take a look at question number 2. Let's read it together. Number 2 says, the weight of a pen in grams is shown to the right here. So the weight of 1 pen is 6 grams. What is the weight of 10 pens? What is the total weight of 10 pens? We could add 6 10 times. There's a shortcut to doing that. If we're doing repeated addition of the same number, we could do 10 pens times 6 grams. They're telling us we have 10 pens and each pen weighs 6 grams, so 10 times 6 is equal to 60 grams. Letter B, an empty box weighs 82 grams. What is the total weight of a box of 10 pens? Well, in letter A, we found out the weight of 10 pens. It's 60 grams. Down here, we find out that the box we put them in weighs 82 grams. So if we model that on a tape diagram, we're adding the 82 and the other part, which is 60, to get our total. So 82 plus 60 equals, well, you could add your tens, which is 140, 80 plus 60, and then your ones, which would be 2, 2 plus 0. So our answer is 142 grams. If you would like to try numbers 3 and 6 on your own, you may. Otherwise, you're submitting this to me so that I can check your work. Great job, everybody.